And we're live. What's up, everybody? What's going on? This is J Knock coming back at it with Poe with the boxing wish list. We're gonna do something a little different this show. But first, Poe, how you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, you know.
Living.
Just living. Yeah,
um, let's see. Let me pull up. What we're gonna be doing is Poe came up with a quick little list that we're going to get into um, regarding um, a couple of topics: budgets, boxers overpricings, things like that. But let's go ahead and start it off with the first topic: um, realistic budget. I have my opinions on this one. I want you to go ahead and you can start this one.
yeah. Um, I was hoping that because I had a lot of devs and people in the industry, they've been looking at my stuff because on LinkedIn, you can see how many people looked at your topic that you put on or
Right, right.
whatever you post, and it was quite a few, and I thought they came on. Actually, one liked it and I think reposted it. So I was hoping they was gonna come on the show so we talk more about this in depth. But a realistic budget for an indie game, yeah, that's
So
depends on what they want.
let's split the two. Let's split the two. Let's talk a realistic budget for a boxing
Game
game,
in general,
for a game in
in general.
general. Right.
Okay.
So what would you say a realistic budget would be?
Wow.
Go ahead and take
Well,
it. Go ahead and take it over. I'm gonna switch batteries in my headset. So go ahead and take it over.
okay. For a AAA company, I think about 5 million is a realistic budget because it gives you more room to get more boxers, and you could do different things. Because I know with EA, they had a problem with motion caption. You had to pay a different price for a motion caption. Even if a boxer say, "I want to be in free," they got to pay like 40,000 or a high price for motion caption. But EA knocked that out the way because they bought the studio, so it wasn't no overhead.
All right.
So yeah, realistic budget I said is like $5 million.
You say 5 mil.
Yeah, for a AAA company.
Now is that self-published or outsourced?
Wow, you went there. Um, um, well, you talking about a AAA company, self-published? Because I know with
Well,
EA they do a lot of stuff themselves. Because they try to keep it within house.
yeah, but I mean just in general because there are companies like 2K has done it. Um, I mean many just everybody almost in the industry has done a game where they own the IP, own the intellectual property,
Mm-hmm.
but they had somebody else develop it. Um, a lot of people do that. Like WB owns like all the Batman stuff, but uh, a studio called Rocksteady develops it. They're owned by WB, but it's a separate. It's not WB Interactive.
Okay. Okay.
So it is something that's done regularly. But what I would say I didn't get like I was switching batteries in my headset, so I didn't catch some of it. Uh, a realistic budget that I would say I came back when you were talking about motion capture. Um,
Yeah, I said when you if a boxer say he want to be in the game for free, companies that's not like EA that has their own motion capture studio. Before they used to have to rent out a studio and they had to pay for it like that. But now that they got it, it's easy on them. But doing motion caption for each boxer or character, I think it's like 25,000 to 40,000. I was like, wow, that's a lot of money.
That's depending on what kind of studio it is. Um,
Yeah,
Now, realistic budget. If it was a triple A, if it was a triple A company, I would say, uh, man, probably at the low, I would probably double what you said. Probably say 5 to 10 mil. And that's on the low end, and that's with name boxers, motion capture, and everything. Now, here's the thing on motion capture. Um, Motion capture, depending on the setup, like I said, depending on the studio, depending on the setup, on average, will run you about um, 4,000 a day.
oh, a day. Wow.
Yeah, it'll run you about 4,000 a day, and that's not including um, any like what would it call them, like techs and to do any touch ups and stuff, if there was like any work that needed to be touched up. So so depending on how big you want it to go, uh, like I said, like if you're doing a whole bunch of boxers, that can run you probably higher than 40,000,
Yeah,
depending on how many days you need, how many how many sessions there is, and if they need to go back and do any technical work, like actual like tweaking the motion captures or fine tuning them. If none of that's needed, then and you just need it one day, it'll hit you about $4,000 for that one day, and that's coming from a I'm talking about a studio that's like I'm talking about a warehouse with cameras on, kind of like the 2K setup.
yeah. That's how EA has a big studio like that. It look like a gymnasium.
Yeah, that'll run you about 4,000 on up, depending on it. And then there's another thing too, depending on the scale, depending on how many cameras you want, how big of a scale you want to get, how detailed you want to get on the motion capture. So it could run you a lot. So 5 to 10 million on a triple A budget. I think it's doable. It's feasible. Um, Now, one thing that's not on this list that you sent me is, or unless I'm just looking over it. Hold on. First we'll do the. What would you say on an indie team? On an indie company.
Wow, they see budget wise, they gonna have to do some type of um get some type of money like Patreon or something like that to help with their project. So I say they're gonna have to gather up the money to at least get about
Now
at
here, here,
least a million,
here here's
a
here,
million.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. We'll do self-published indie team or
Hmm.
outsource published indie team.
I think the budget still be kind of the same, about mil 2 mil. They could work with that, have some working room with that. Because fans be a little forgiving, with certain things. As long as it's polished.
See,
What you think?
see, on an indie team, I'm thinking at least 5 million.
Yeah, I was trying to not to overhype the money
I'm
to
thinking
make
about
it look.
and that will be on a uh, outsourced published, outsourced developed. I mean, and they can the developer can publish. Um, I think it would run about five because the team is doing everything. The outsourced team is doing everything, and the outsourced team would be doing uh, the artist, the scans, the everything. Um, but here's another thing that I wanted to add on this. If it was a self-published indie team, I think it can be done within 750 to a million.
Wow.
If it was a self-published, I'm talking about where they're doing the coding, they're doing the animations, they're doing the scan. Like, well, they have somebody else doing the scans, but I'm saying they're doing everything, not outsourced anything. Um, that's roughly what it would be. Uh, I think it can get done with that amount of money. Now, how big of a team would the indie team have to be? What I didn't see, that's what I didn't see on the list.
Yeah, that I seen with
Now we're
with
now
a
now we're
team
talking
with 5 people, they did a pretty good job. But
on
I
what?
know some teams I can't remember, and I meant to write that down as a note that they did a project that looked at phenomenal just for it to be like 5 people.
Now I'm thinking minimum 10,
Yeah,
but
I would
the
say about 15 myself.
these can't be any old normal run of the mill 10. This team of 10 would have to be of industry professionals that have knowledge and have the expertise of gaming, of making games, of some kind of sports caliber.
Yeah,
They would have had to come from another studio for them to make it on a team. So now I'm not doubting anybody's abilities if they haven't made a game, because there's some talented people. People. It doesn't mean if you have experience doesn't mean you are that great. There are some talented people that don't have experience making games. But on with that said, a lot of the people that are fresh in the business don't know the ins and outs of things, of the engine or the industry.
that's true. And to me, a team they gotta include in their budget that they have to hire consultants. They have to be a part of the team. Every sports game that's out that's successful, they have people on the team that has knowledge of the sport that they're dealing with.
Yeah. Um, that helps with the authenticity of the game.
Yes.
I mean, it's. I mean, you can argue about the problems that Madden has currently, right? Madden
Mm-hmm.
2020. There's major problems and stuff. Uh, animation, not yeah, animations and bugs and stuff, and legacy bugs and bugs that've been around forever, and all these other things and that's happened. That's with 2K. Every game has them. Uh, you know, there's not. I don't think there's one game that's right off the bat perfect. There's just not. Um, but people that know the sport and can give it that authenticity will strengthen the game. Now you talk about consultants. Consultants who what we talked about this I think last show. What
Yeah.
what since we're talking about it now, what's going to be a consultant to you? Now, is it just somebody on YouTube that just talks boxing, or
No. It got
okay,
to be a person that's actually boxed or they're a historian in some way. They can actually tell you because a lot of these historians they watch film over and over and over. They know little things. They know stats. They know all these different things. They'll tell you that well the Bronx bomber he moved a certain way. I mean Joe Lewis he moved a certain way. Joe Lewis did this and did that, and a regular boxing fan, he's not really paying attention to that, but he'd be like, oh yeah, he does do that.
yeah.
And they know which hand, like well, he's stronger with this hand and he throw his hook with this amount of power at the catcher, these the little things that they know that a regular developer probably wouldn't really pay no attention because they'd be like, it's a boxing game. I just put a boxer throwing punches.
Now we talked about it before. Current day consultant historians that you would get if the money was there and everything, all the stars were aligned, the sun was rising on the perfect axis and everything else. What boxing historian would you get, or consultant?
I'll get Teddy Atlas, Al Bernstein, and that I'm not thinking, and I get Jim Chozo.
Okay, that's that's it. Or would you have those three, or would you have one of the three, or a combination of like two of the three?
Like 2 out of 3 of them. To me, that'll make an excellent game. And this is a thing that a company should do. Try to get the rights for Burt Sugar.
Yes, yes.
Get Burt Sugar rights. You get a voice actor to do his voice or whatever and put in the game.
I mean,
And
I think they can piece things together, dude. Honestly,
mm,
because there's enough film on him. There's enough film on Burt Sugar to where they can piece things together in a recording studio. They've done it before. They do it with artists that's passed away. You know what I'm saying?
your your technology is way advanced now. You
Yeah,
can do almost anything.
yeah. There's a lot of AIs that you can just run all of his videos through, and they'll catch all of his words, and you can just type, and it'll plug in everything he says in his voice. I think they can do it. I think that's doable. Now, me personally, um, boxing historians. Like I said, I'm not too familiar. Speaking of, I think next Wednesday, I think we might be having that show with Jim.
Oh wow.
Um,
Uh,
so so we might be having that one next Wednesday. We just got to confirm everything. But I'm not too familiar with him, so I can't add him in there. We'll get to know him. I'll get to know him soon. Um, but I would say Teddy Atlas, Al Bernstein. Um,
did you say Paulie?
I would say Paulie, Tyson,
Oh
even
yeah.
even a Max Kellerman, or or Jim Lampley.
I take Jim Lampley over Max Kellerman.
I
He's
mean,
very, very biased.
yeah, but
It's like he be trying to figure out things on go.
yeah, but I mean he was a face of boxing. Hell, even I mean almost any of the 80s and 90s fighters can do it, damn near.
Yeah,
A Lennox Lewis, Roy Jones, you know, I mean, that's just the two that I just thought of off the top of my head. So, um,
the thing about this what I kind of find out about boxers when you ask them to do certain things for boxing games, they don't take it as serious as a football player would take Madden.
well, I think that's whoever that's I think it's based on the person.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's the person, man, because if and I think it's how you approach them also. And it's also the setting and environment. Like if you just are on the phone and say, "Hey, what do you say about this?" and you're just drilling them with questions and just trying to get answers from for certain things, you're not going to get the right thing. But if you sit down and just say, "Hey, lay it on me," I'm just listening, and you just throw a name out there, and then they start talking about them. Like have you ever heard Tyson talk about like um um Willie Pep?
Yeah,
You know, it's like it's crazy. It's
it's
crazy
like wow,
how
he
it
know that much
yeah
information.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like those things that like it all depends on how you how the situation is, I think, but and who you get. Um, anything else you want to go on budget wise?
No, we can move on.
All right. So boxers. Um, actually, hold on. Let's get into fan expectations. Um, and then we're gonna. Are you looking at the list that you sent me?
Yes.
All right. So we'll go into fan expectations, and then the one above that we'll move it down one, because I think those two go hand in hand. So
Mm.
so fan are they high for companies for indie or not? Uh, yes and yes. I say they are, especially for indie companies, because look how the indie. Okay, let's take the two that 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 we know about that have some kind of announcements of things, trailers or screenshots or whatever. The two that we know, Hard Knock Nights and Round for Round, right?
Mm.
People's expectations on both of these games are very high. Why
Why
is
would you say they're fire?
I was just about to say that why is that? Now, the reason is because of the verbiage that they are using. Look at the if you don't have to do it now, but if anybody when everybody's listening to this, look at go look at their websites. Go to the websites for Hard Knock Nights. Go to the websites for Round for Round, and you'll see the verbiage that they're using. Um, indie team with making a game with AAA quality. So what does that tell you? They have the budget.
Yeah, that makes fans be
They
like,
have
"Oh,
the
you
budget,
got the
they have
money."
the skill, they have the money, they have everything. Everything is lined up. They have the boxers, they have everything. But what happens when they put out a trailer that is as bad as the trailer that we've seen? People's expectations deflate. Just because the graphics might uh be good, it 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 doesn't mean the game is going to be that way. Especially when you seen when we know what's being used and what we see is being used. So that kills people's expectations. It's how they say it, how they say things, how they are delivering their mission statement on their websites, and what they try to put out. That's what gets people, and then you also have people hyping everything up. So of course that's going to raise people's expectations.
Yeah, I can see that.
What would you say?
Yeah, I think fans' expectations very high, but in a way, I think no matter what they posted up there, fans' expectations are gonna be high regardless, because it's like they feel like you should be an extension to the last game that came out. We looking for nothing less than what we had before. That's basically the attitude that a lot of fans had, regardless of anything. Some of the fans didn't even know anything about it, and they still wanted their expectations was like super high. Like this guy's like, yeah, it's a game, another game. I just got finished talking to a guy because he was talking about EA and Clarissa Shields, and I said that was Clarissa Shields. She made a mistake. She was too excited and everything. And then they was talking about as an article, Eddie Hearn said, when he was talking about
Dude, that
EA, come on, let's talk.
that
And
that article's been around forever.
yeah,
They keep on circling that same article, man, and they keep on playing it as it's new. It's not. It's been around forever. EA ain't doing it. EA ain't gonna do nothing.
no,
Believe me, because they've shown it before. They only want to deal with one person, and when I mean one person, I mean one company, and that's it.
yeah, because for them it's cheaper and EA about making money. They're not about, you know,
Yeah, because they don't want to.
putting
They don't
money
want to go
out.
out. They don't want to go out and get the likeness to this person, this person. Now, if they strike a deal with the management, and for some way they got every boxer that this promotional company has, and they got the agreement, then they might do something. But without that, I don't see them doing it. But you say even though they even it, regardless of what they say, you think a indie team is going to have high expectations?
Yeah, people gonna have high expectations no matter what they say.
Right, but if you're open, if you're upfront, if you lay it out to people what skill level you are, whatever the case may be, if you just lay it out to them like, hey, this is what we're aiming for, then they will have a realistic expectations about things. Some might still have that high expectations, but if you don't go out there and this is what I this is a problem, and this is everybody that teaches game development tells you from the start, do not make something that's so ambitious, especially on your first go out. because it's not going to turn out the way you want it to. There are some out.
Could you give me a second? I'll
Yeah,
be right back.
yeah. Um, but everybody, I forgot to cover this. In uh, we will be doing the shows every Wednesday and Sunday, and that's at 5 p.m. Eastern. Next Wednesday we should be doing. We just have to lock down um, a interview that we're going to do with Jim. His last name is forgive me. I think Truzo. I think his last name is. Um, and he is the creator of Title Bout Boxing, which is a sim text tech sim boxing game. Uh, and
Okay, I'm back.
that should be next Wednesday. All right. Is how you say his last name? Truzo.
Yeah, I'll go on Chunzo.
Trunzo. Okay. But yeah, I was just saying that next Wednesday we should be doing that interview with him. Um, and of what his background is and everything. So there is that. And um, I was just talking about. I think, like I said, I mean, look at Project Boxing. I bring that up quite a bit because I like it. It's not the greatest looking game, but with the artist or anything behind that, or with the body scans and stuff, it could be a really good boxing game. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I see a lot of fans seeing a lot of potential.
Right.
Like the guys on my Wishlist Mafia, they're like, wow, I see the potential in that. And I was shocked because they like real nitpicky. I could be real nitpicky.
And as am I. I am too. But but I see that and I'm like, man, hold up. Okay, this could be something big because you can see it could get more modernized. You can see it can get
Yeah,
bigger. You can see it can look nicer. But it's a working concept. It's there. Unlike other things that we've seen where it's just like, ooh, what's that? Okay, yeah, you got a nice body scan, but what is that? So, man, yeah. Um, people, what I was trying to get at was people are not, they don't have the high expectations with that, like super high expectations because they see where it's at. They they have like, damn, man, that can be really good, but their expectations are not like through the roof. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
They're not like so outrageous where, oh, it's gonna be better than this game, that game, or this game. But it can be. Uh, but they're not saying these things. I haven't seen those things about. See, I haven't seen those things being said about that game. So it I think it's all messaging, man. I think it's all messaging and how they're trying to portray things. And people get ahead of themselves. They talk things up before they actually even know what people can do, or what the company's doing. I think they need I think a lot of teams should, before they even start putting all this stuff out there, they need to have working prototypes. I think
no,
if fans don't see that, I don't think anybody should even think about buying into it if they don't see a working prototype.
And that's what a lot of companies do. Especially back in the days, they used to show you a
The,
working prototype of
No,
the
they
game.
still in the gaming industry they still do that. Even AAA companies, even individual teams, because like Ubisoft, I forget what team made the game For Honor. There's actually a documentary on Netflix where the creator of the game did a pitch to EA, and they had video of a it was a like a almost it was nondescript, not like it was without even any um post production stuff on it. It was like really raw, really raw. I'm talking about looks like a like probably a PlayStation 1 game, but that just runs better. um they just had guys fighting, people fighting with swords and stuff, and that was the pitch at the board of Ubisoft, and then they got the green light. And if people do that without, if they're an indie team, okay, they don't have a board, but you know who their board is? The public. That's their board. And if they came to the public with a working concept saying, "Here, this is what we're doing. Could you guys get behind this? And if you guys can get behind this, here's where you can lay your support." And I can guarantee you, people will line up, people will pay for helping development of the game, and it would get funded properly if an indie team did that. But that's my opinion. Uh, that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Now I jumped over one. We're gonna jump back to that one now. Um, Boxers overpricing themselves, and this goes hand in hand with the next one here.
Yeah,
Boxers
it does.
overpricing themselves. Boxers expecting indie companies to have the funds and the resources of a AAA company. Boxers overpricing themselves is it's a mixture of things. It's a mixture of things. It's a lack of knowledge of the gaming world. One, two, it's their knowledge of the boxing world. Um, that's two, and three would be the past errors that game or should I say errors? The past mistakes that AAA teams made and companies made with previous boxing games and previous boxers to have their to have them say, "I want money. This is how much money I want." Because a lot of them got screwed over when they signed on that dotted line.
Yeah,
A lot of people didn't get the funds or whatever that they were expecting, or they were said something but the contract read another thing. That's what I say about the people getting screwed over. Now, number two, um, them having knowledge of their boxing worlds. Now, a boxer has a short career, right? Like
yes.
like they're like not many people are going 20 years like a Floyd did, or 20 plus years like Bernard Hopkins did. Um, and a lot of those guys they want that money right up front. They want that money now because their career might end at any time. they might lose that buzz anytime, and that's the way they're thinking, and that's how they're treated in the boxing world, in the I guess the political apparatus that the boxing world has. Cause I mean, well, that's almost with any industry though, because people like football players, basketball players, they're treated as products and commodities, and once you're damaged, you're damaged. You're out of there. You know,
Yeah,
they use you up and they spit you out.
yeah. My say on this is that someone needs to really explain to boxers about an indie company is not a AAA company. That being in a gang can also boost your viewership and your brand. A lot of boxers talk about brand now, but you talking about a brand, no one knows some of these boxers, especially the casual fans. They don't know these boxers. Now, if you put yourself in their view, now they see the brand that you are.
Right. But that goes back to what I was saying about um, the fans' expectations about indie companies.
Mm-hmm.
Look look what they're saying, and you don't think a boxer goes and looks at what they say? AAA quality. So that and people that not are not really reading into it as much. All what they see is AAA. That's the thing that's sticking in their head. They're not looking. They're not thinking about the AAA quality. That's what you're just talking about quality. You're not talking about everything else. You're just talking about quality. But people are seeing that and they're lumping that all in. They're throwing a generalized blanket and they're saying, oh well, this is it's going to be AAA then. And boxers, believe me, boxers are thinking the same way. But on what you can do to help prevent that is have a plan in place, but it has to be also designed into the game to uh, where like boxers can sell themselves for the game, like buying a DLC pack or cards or something like that to make these boxers see what kind of money is there. But then again, you have to have a good game too.
Yeah.
You know,
So you basically self promoting themselves within the game.
right. I mean, if they're doing little promo ads like, "Hey, check out me in this in such and such boxing game. Buy my pack, buy my fight pack, or whatever the case might be. Buy my DLC pack." Um, and they're getting a big cut of said DLC or packs or revenue or whatever. It'll give them a reason to do so because that's the way business goes. They're their own company almost. They have to
Yeah.
sell themselves when they're promoting a fight. So how come they can't promote themselves when they're promoting a game? They're getting paid off of it. They might not be getting that bag up front, but they're getting it on the back end. And especially if it's a solid game, if these companies actually put out a solid game, then these boxers will flock to it. But
Yeah, that
you have to have a solid game from the beginning though.
yeah, that's what I said. Once a game, they see a game of something like boxers be coming out the woodwork wanting to be in a game, but it got to stand up to
There has to be the
what
quality.
what catch they yeah. It got to be quality enough for them to say, yeah, put me in a game.
Not just looks, because truth be told, Fight Night Champions looked good, looked great, muscles flexing and everything, and it looked great. But the game was trash.
Yeah,
As a boxing game, it was horrible. But people accept it because that's all they had.
yeah,
So um, now those two together. What's a great? Well, I kind of touched on that. What's a great solution
yeah,
to get boxers to sign into a game? Um, Add them in DLC packs.
yeah,
Add them in DLC packs. They don't have to sell for a lot, but hell, I mean the Foreman DLC, like that, they had that one DLC for one of the fight nights. Can't remember which one it was. Um, that one sold for like there was one for like $5. There was one for I think 10, and then there was like I think it went up from 5, 10, 15, and 20.
yeah.
It,
Because to me, they could put together different kinds of packs, like the speedster pack with the fastest fighters in the boxing, or you got a knockout pack, the heavyweight knockout pack with all the big punches in the heavyweights, Ernie Shavers, and if they get Mike Tyson or whatever,
I
you
mean
add them to a
there's
pack.
so many setups they can do, and if the game is marketed properly, if it's marketed properly, if there is a fan base of let's say at least for an indie team, let's say 150,000, at least that will that will strike a chord with these guys because if you have these packs and it's not about nickel and diamond fans, but if the fans want said boxers in a game and for it to be a mutual thing for the boxer and the gaming company, they would have to do it in some kind of DLC thing, in some kind of DLC way to where the boxer gets paid because it's preventing like that's the way to stop them from outpricing themselves.
Yeah, it's just the thing of getting them to agree to DLC. A lot of boxers, I guess they don't really know what DLC is, and they just afraid of it.
Well, that's why you need somebody in the team that actually knows how to sell things. And and here's the thing: you have to have a solid plan, a marketable plan, a good marketing for that plan, and somebody to actually explain that plan properly to the boxer and his team, and to show him numbers. And you definitely have to show you would have to do a test run, and there's a lot of ways to do the test runs. I'm not going to get into them, but there's a lot of ways to do these things. Oh man, if companies only knew, if companies only knew, man, but it's on them.
And
It's
they
on.
and they got my idea with the cards,
Yeah,
because
that's
it's a lot of companies, they like now they starting to add me on as a friend. Um, Tops, I think is it Flair. It's a couple of game card companies. I mean trading card companies. They add me on as a friend, and they like monitoring my posts.
um yeah, but the thing is that people want to see numbers, and
Yeah,
there's only certain ways that you can get those numbers. Um, but I'm not going to go into those things because uh I'm just not going to get into them because that's something that people actually pay for.
Yeah.
uh, but getting into, let's see, fans' expectation of indie companies to have funds and resources at AAA. I think we kind of covered that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's expand on it a little bit more. Um, like what other reasons could you think of why they have these expectations? Why they have funds and resources?
Because I think a lot of fans is ignorance, but it's not ignorant in a bad way. It's ignorance that they don't know. Because to them, they're like, if you can make a game, you got money.
Yeah, some people
But
do
they
think
don't
that way.
realize it takes large sums of money to make a game, especially if you're indie. A lot of these indie companies, they're working off a small budget, making things happen. But they're not making things happen like the AAA companies are.
A lot of there yes, I agree. There's some people that think that. Um, but a lot of, especially, I mean, me personally, I'm gonna talk about me.
Mm-hmm.
I went by what people said.
Yeah.
I'm listening to what they've said on live streams, on interviews, on on videos that they've done, all these things. Post what they have on their website, all these things. Because if you, like I said before, if you can't hold, uh, it was an old saying, if you can't hold a man to his word, what do you really have? But if you can't hold anybody in that company to their word, why would you expect a a caliber of game that they're trying to say and they're trying to deliver? You wouldn't if they're lying about if everything they said, they missed dates, they they kept on delaying things. Delays happens, dates misses happens, but if you're constantly doing that every time that you're trying to announce something, why am I going to believe that? So I have high expectations. Now I have zero expectations, or close to that. And some people might say, "Oh well, you shouldn't expect this from a company. You know, companies are these game companies are horrible." But yeah, but these are these are small teams that's never been put out a game and are have built a quote unquote following of what they have said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or what they have done in either communities they built or or things they've done on games. So if we're going by by what they're saying and we can't go by that, what do we have at that point? We have a whole bunch of lies. So uh, I think that's companies need to be very careful with what they're saying, what they're relaying to customers because it's all psychological. If you're saying AAA AAA quality, and some people read into that as, oh, you're going to be, you have the funds, you have the resources, you have everything as a AAA company. That's how people read into it because the thing they see is AAA game. And what does AAA games have? They have the money, they have the resources, they have the quality. Some don't have the quality, but that's a different subject. But you know what I'm saying? They have all these things. So you're saying you have it, so that's why I'm expecting it. Not me personally, because my expectations on both games are almost to zero. Um, but that's me. Fans have a mentality of EA or nobody. and fans also have this one these two will actually we'll just go with the one. EA or nobody mentality. I think it's because people are just so used to EA being the gateholders, the gatekeepers.
But I think it's sad because no one EA really not they like stagnant with what they doing. They like do the bare minimum nowadays. Before they used to try to catch you because they had some type of competition or something, but now they're like, whatever.
EA and many other um, game development companies put out MVP products, or MVPs is what they call them. And what those are is minimal viable products. They do it the base they can. They put it out. People pay full price for it, and then they put resources in it afterwards, or or not, because some of the teams don't. They fail to actually meet putting uh, the time and effort into it afterwards. And that's when you get a game called like Anthem.
Yeah,
That's why you get a game like Madden. That's why you get a game like NBA 2K20. Some people like it. Some people are having a fun time with those games. But when you actually look at them, they're not quality to what they used to be. Madden and NBA 2K. I was speaking of. And another reason why people have that mentality too is because they know EA has the capacity to put out a polished, good-looking game because they have the funds and resources for it.
yeah, I think that is the you're
That's what.
right about that.
That's why they. That's one of the reasons why they. That's one of the many. I mean, that's just two that I'm thinking of. And then that goes with this next question here. Um, People have um, there's groups of people that have a AAA company or nothing mentality, and that's goes back to what I just said. It's because
Mm-hmm.
they have the money and resources. I mean, that's simple. They have the money, resources, and the backing for it, and the marketing materials. They have everything. Everything's there. That and that's another thing where these indie companies that are doing games currently, they have a small window. That window's almost damn near closed for me. Me personally, as a consumer, as a consumer, it's damn near closed. But for people, there's a small window to hit that mark. To hit that mark to say this is going to be a game that's going to meet everyone's expectations. There's a small window, or just expectations in general. There's a very small window, and there's a and to me, like I said, to me personally, they missed that window, and it's either because of poor quality that they put out or a lack of information that's being put out, or they say they're going to do something and then they don't do it. That kills it for a game too, for me personally. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I agree with you. The AAA companies, fans, they just look at it as the resources and everything. The money, they got the money to basically get on what they want. But my expectations for a AAA company, dropped 10 years ago because they, for our sports, because they put like we was just saying, they put the bare minimum in there to try to keep fans, even
But
though they fans stay on their websites telling them what they want. They ask them what do they want.
now your faith in that AAA company was EA, and that's your fault. And the reason why I say it's your fault is because um, EA has been voted numerous times worst company in the in of all to work for.
That's
To
true.
they've been voted many times over. So that's kind of your fault for not looking at that when it happened. I think it happened back in 2006. Um,
Yeah, and that's around the time I was there.
you know,
I
so
was,
so that's on you. You should have been looking at that and been like, yo, maybe they're onto something here.
and I was like, God, maybe they can get it right with this game. How can they get it wrong? We giving them all these ideas. The fans is backing them, and boom, they ain't doing none of that.
They got it wrong because they have stockholders.
Yup, that I heard that a lot. And one of the producers is semi honest to the point that I'm shocked that he's still working at EA. And he said, when it comes to when it boils down to it, the stockholders will push the game out the door before it's finished already.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
like, wow. And that's one of the things that I'm scared about with an indie company. If they get stockholders or too many investors and they're not patient with the project, they just like, no, put it out. We need it. They want you to put it up, especially if they're not boxing fans and
Yeah.
they don't see it. They don't see what it can be.
Well, most of the board members are not gamers, anyways. They're not fans of
Yeah,
the games. They're just there for the money.
yeah. And the promises that the company told them.
Well, because the like I said, the gaming industry uh is 93 billion, I think it is. I mean, and that's bigger than movies and music. Um, like I said, like Red Dead Redemption 2 sold just 1 billion less than the top 3 highest grossing films of all time. Just a
Well,
billion. Just 1 billion less. And we're talking about the Avengers, Avatar, and the Titanic. Red Dead Redemption almost made as much as those 3 films combined. Red Dead Redemption made
uh,
made about 6 billion. Those three movies combined made 7 point something, and Red Dead Redemption made 6 point something. So I mean, and that's just rough numbers that I've looked up. It's probably a lot closer than that, honestly.
yeah, the last I looked, the gaming industry is in the hundreds,
Yeah,
100 billion.
that's just rough number. Like, well, I'm talking about the Red Dead Redemption. Yeah, but
So
but the gaming in general, the gaming industry in general is bigger than music. I mean, music and movies, hands
yeah,
down, hands down. Um, let's push the next one down. Bump up the next one. So, what does a AAA company offer fans besides having the funding that an indie company might struggle with? What would you say?
polish, um, promotion. They promote their product, um, and yeah, basically they're all around they have staffs in place for different things. And they have a polished games. Well, some unpolished games. They fix them as they go
Yeah,
along.
yeah. Some of them
Yeah,
are.
game companies don't do like they used to do. They give
I
you a
miss
polished
I
game,
miss those
but
days,
they
man.
can fix it on. Yeah, they can fix it now. They be like, we'll put the game out and we make a
Well, the
patch.
well the reason is because of the internet. It's because of the internet. Um,
Yeah.
because they can push out a fix over the net and they can fix it that way. Um, but see that takes money and resources too, which a lot of people don't understand. And indie companies, more times than not, don't put out a lot of updates and patches and stuff because it costs money, time, resources, everything for them to go back and try. Oh, why is this broken? That's why you get
So
that's why you
so
get indie.
any company got to be on darn near perfect when they get when they
Yes,
come out.
yeah.
Wow.
Especially if they're not if they're a niche title, um, they have to be almost perfect. Especially if they're trying to do that on console and other consoles and then they're trying to do that on PC. Like there's a lot of things that they have to cover, and there's a lot of things that they're not looking at, they're not realizing. Is because they're just thinking, oh, we got a game, all right, so we'll just patch it. Okay, but you're dealing with like you're dealing with hardware that might, like, if you put out a patch, that patch might break a console, like Anthem was doing. They were bricking consoles, completely killing PS4s and Xboxes because of a
Uh,
of a patch they put out. And you think a indie company has the the backing to put out a patch and then turn around and put out a patch for that patch? Like, nah. And they won't even have the manpower for that. And that can get a game kicked off of a console.
yeah.
So I mean, there's that. But what an indie company has to offer fans besides funding for that indie companies have struggled with? Like you said, polish is one of them. Also, track record, man. Good or bad, they still have a track record. They still have a history in making games. Some of them good, some of them really good, some of them bad, some of them horrible. But they still have a track record of that. And that's what fans are looking at too. They can say, you know what, I didn't like that Madden 20. Maybe they fixed 21. I didn't like 2K20. Maybe they fixed 2K21. You know what I'm saying? Like they have the ability to, because of the track record. Well, I liked Madden 2008. I liked 2007. I liked NBA 2K11. So I'm gonna give them another shot because they have that track record, and they also have a monopoly. They also have monopoly. So those things that AAA companies have. And
Yeah.
like I said, you when it comes to boxing, these boxing games that are coming out, they not only have a small window, but they have to hit it out the park right off the start. They're not going to have a second chance. They're not going to have a second go at it. They're not going to have a, oh, well, year two is going to be better.
Yeah. Yeah. They showed me that, and actually I was saying I was like, don't when we gave them a list, I said, and they told us what they was gonna do. I said, don't depend on having another game. Say it's EA.
Well, I'm saying like this is what I mean by year two. Um, if you're familiar with the game Rainbow Six Siege,
Yes.
made by Ubisoft, uh, that game at launch came out wasn't good. Year one was horrible. I bought the game. Nobody was playing it. I turned around and sold the game like maybe 6 7 months later.
Wow.
Everybody was getting rid of it. The year two came out. They they had all kinds of updates. They had a better update. They had the game was actually playable. I didn't go back and buy it because I was just like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna let everybody else likes it. That's on them. That's great. Everybody they can love it. Um, I already had my time with it. Left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm done with it. Um, but they they had a second chance because they had the backing for it, the money for it. They stuck with it. An indie team, I don't think they, I don't think they'll have that ability. I don't think they'll have the, they would have made the money to have that ability to do so. Especially when you have so many people already having a bad taste in their mouth with 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 what's going on with both games that are coming out.
Yeah, I think what's going on left a bad taste in people's mouth too. That's why they super skeptic. 'Cause Don King game got people like on the edge of their seats. Like, I hope not.
Hmm. Well, I mean, if you take a look at the what's his name? What's his name? What's that channel? Sports Gaming Online. If you look at that video he did, and you refresh it, and you look at all the new comments, I mean that's the expectations of people what they're saying about the game. When he was talking about that, uh, when he did a video on Hard Knock Nights, that trailer, quote unquote. You know, I'm not the only one.
Mm.
I said some things there. I'm not the only one. But I mean that speaks for itself. The people are speaking.
Yeah,
You know, you can try to call everyone haters, but they're just speaking the truth. Um, you got anything else about what AAA companies, or any of the other topics? We can go back to them. Any of the other
no,
topics.
we ain't gonna touch on the. Let's talk about the other boxing games that are
Yeah,
rumored.
that's what I was going to say before we got to that. Did you want to touch
No,
on anything
no,
else? All right, so
no.
the last topic um, we will be getting into is talking about other boxing games that are rumored to be coming out 2020, and who may be producing them. Um, to my knowledge, my from what I've seen, there is um, round for round boxing. Nobody knows what's going on with that. Um, we don't know who's behind it. Um, you know something. I'm not going to get into that. You probably know things that I don't. I'm not going to even do that. I'm just saying what I know.
Mm.
Round for round boxing, nobody knows really who's behind that, what's doing it, where the game's at, if it's developed, what nobody knows nothing. Um, we have Hard Knock Nights. We have Canada Studio behind that one, and I think partnered up with Showbiz, whatever. Uh, I don't know what if you I don't know what their linked is there, but we don't know what their background is. We seen a trailer that came out where they have one animator and they're doing uh and they're using assets from Mixamo's um asset list for their animations. Um, they said they wanted to get what is that, motion capture in. They they were they planned to, but we don't know. That's a plan. Plans, they said a lot of things. Could we believe what they say? Me personally, no, because they've missed out on so many things. Well, we were supposed to get a demo last December. We never happened. Um, and then there's also Project Boxing. The guy, forgive me, I don't know, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Um, I think there's YouTube channels like Elythium or something like that. Uh,
Yeah,
uh, he has been working, but he says he's still working on it. He still wants to do it. Um, and that was as of 5 months ago on a post from his last video on Project Boxing that he did. So those are the three that I know. Um, I heard of I heard of a crypto boxing, but I can't speak on that one really. That I don't know. I crypto and boxing, blockchain, like I don't
yeah.
games being made on blockchain. I know about blockchain, I know about crypto, but that's not something would go hand in hand.
Seems weird. I think it's a card game, and that's not what fans want. Might as well have it take some.
Fans don't want that either. There's very few that want
Mm,
that.
yeah, but I'm talking about this. I think they'll play a take some play before they play a card game like that.
Nah, I mean card games are kind of big. Card games are kind of big, depending on what card game it is. Because you have Hearthstone, you have Magic the Gathering, and you also have Gwent. Those are pretty big card games, and I think there's some other ones too. But those are the ones that top off the top of my head. But um, I don't think fans want a boxing card game. I don't think they want that at all.
No.
Unless you're trying to do something like a promotion, a promoter mode or something like that, and you're building stables that way, and it's like boxing cards, and you link those up with Tops and Fleer and all those the card companies, the trading card companies, then yeah, I think they might get into it that way. But an actual card game, I don't think I don't think people are wanting that, man. Um,
Mm.
that's all I know. Um, you got the floor, man.
Yeah, I heard rumors about besides I know that round for round is being worked on. Hard Knocks tonight. Then you got the I heard Big Ant Studio is making a game. They're working on a game. I was in discussions with them before I got picked up by Round for Round. And I told him I liked the idea, and I was giving him, showing my ideas and everything. He said he liked it. First, he was like, he wasn't really sure he wanted to do a boxing game because he said a boxing game is expensive and, all these different things. But then I was talking to him, and I, was giving him little ideas that he could do. And then I put him on to Brian Mazik, Unique Mazik. If
Yeah,
anyone know him, look him up. And they've been working and talking behind the scenes. And last that I talked to him, he said they still making a game.
hashing some stuff out. Okay. And if you guys are not know Brian, he is a contributor and writer for Forbes. He covers boxing, games, and wrestling. And I think
Yeah,
he also covers a little bit of sports in general too.
yeah,
Um, but
That's the thing.
yeah, if you guys look him up, he did a great article about it was like 3,000 days or something like that and counting. We haven't had a boxing game. Um, Good article, great article. Check it out. I'll probably, you know what, I'll link it in the comments after the show. Um,
Yeah.
now who's Big Ant? You know?
Big Ant is a studio. They made a they're known for their soccer games, and I think they got a rugby game out. And
No, they
you
made
know,
lacrosse,
oh yeah, lacrosse,
lacrosse and
but
rugby.
they're known for their stadium creators and stuff like that. And
Now now they're supposed to be. I don't know what's going on with it, but there's like a big controversy that I'm aware of. Um, what was it? IMG Games.
oh, you talking about the football game?
Yeah, they were supposed to be making this Gridiron Champions. Um, and currently there's a lawsuit, which is I think it's a stupid lawsuit, me personally. But and it that if they're doing a lawsuit, this is my 2 cents on it. If they're doing a lawsuit, that's slowing up the game because they're focusing on this lawsuit at this point. Um, and every fan that's already invested money into it, put money to it, and hasn't got anything that they were stating that they were supposed to be getting, it's going to be longer now. But Big Ant is was supposed to be publishing that game and developing that game, so I don't know how big of a team that they are to handle 2 games, or if they're not handling that game at all. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that, but it was announced that they were, and then taken back that we're still looking at it. Like that company IMG Games were saying that they're looking at it. I don't know what's going on with that. Um, but they put out like lacrosse 2016 or something like that and rugby games. So anything else that you know of?
No, I heard from a couple of people that's in the industry that kept saying, "Look, guys, gonna be more than you expect when it comes to boxing games." And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "Who?" And they said, "Just look out." You just said that's why y'all better hurry up with y'all project.
Well,
And that's and that's to me, if it's going to be more games coming out, my thing is boxers when they sign these contracts, don't be locked into them. Let it be known that you want to be able to move around.
I don't think any
Cause
boxer should lock into a contract unless I don't know unless it's beneficial for them.
yeah, that's the only way.
That's the only way. Like if they're making a game about like 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 Holyfield had his game way back in the Genesis game era. You know what I'm saying? That was his game.
Yeah,
Julio Cesar Chavez had a couple games on Super Nintendo. You know, Mike Tyson Punch Out when they had the license. Uh, and there was the Ring Kings back in Sega, where it was like a historian boxing game. Uh,
no, yeah,
where it had all the legends on it. It was like basically like event like Holyfield's Real Deal Boxing, but with legends. So those are one of my favorite games back in the day. And
I just heard
I
about
like Chavez's game too. I remember playing that quite a bit when I was a kid. Um, yeah, don't get locked into a contract unless they're making a game about you. Uh, cause if a game doesn't come out for some reason, if they get tied up in legal issues, copyright issues, anything like that, that just puts you as a boxer off the shelf. It just takes you off the shelf as a boxer. So make a what's the word I'm looking for here? A commitment to be in a game. But as Poe was saying, if there's other things coming around, yo, you guys like you're independent. You guys can, as boxers, you guys can move as you feel freely, unless they're paying you to not move. That's a different story.
Yeah, especially if it's but if it's an indie company, you know the money is not as major as you would get from a AAA company.
Yeah,
So
of
your
course not.
option should be not to be locked into anything.
hmm I mean, if you're dealing with like, let's say, Eddie Hearns attached to a AAA company, you know you might be getting some money then.
Yeah,
Al Heyman's connected to it. You might be getting some money. These are things that you look at. You got to look at the whole thing. But indie companies, man, don't sign it. Don't lock yourself into a contract because you're killing your marketability if the game doesn't come out or the game flops. Because if that game flops, your name is associated with that game. So sometimes they say, hey, all press is not all like bad press is not, or all press is not good press, or whatever the saying is.
yeah,
All a bad press is not something. I can't remember what the hell it is, but it does. It will kill. It kind of will kill your brand.
yeah. Because there's a lot of games that had superstars in it. Some of them didn't even come out. I don't even remember the Prince Now Seen boxing game coming out. I saw it, but I didn't know it actually came out, hit the shelves or anything.
I don't know. I don't know if it did. But I mean, look at Don King's Prize Fighter, man. I mean, you had Steve Cunningham on there. You had uh, Joe
Shannon Briggs,
Shannon Briggs was on there. Joe Kawasaki was on there. Chad Dawson was on there. Um, Samuel Peters was on there. There was a lot of fighters that some of these fighters were never on the EA games, and some of these fighters won't deal with companies because of what happened then.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
so, so I mean, these people need to have somebody to talk to these boxers properly, but they have to have a clear message. Excuse me, a clear message of what's happening, and it has to be conveyed to the boxers because they're going into a partnership basically.
that's true.
So, got anything else, man? This is a little bit shorter. I kind of like this one. A little bit shorter show. Um, anything else?
No, that's basically it. We could do this on Wednesdays. Write out some questions that we could you know do a Q and A amongst us all.
Well, yeah, we can do this on Wednesdays. Well, I think next Wednesday, Jim is supposed to be coming on. Like I said, we just got to lock it down. Um, I think he might have said next Wednesday. Um, but it's got to confirm that. So he'll be on. Look for that one pretty soon. He is the creator of Title Bout Boxing, right?
Yes, title bout boxing
Yeah, Title Bout
championship.
Boxing Championship, which is there's a board game and then there's also a actual tech sim video game.
Yeah,
So
very deep and educated game.
so he is that. He'll be given some more insight on the development side and probably confirming some things that I've touched on and either things I've either said or comments that I've left in some of these other videos that people might have seen me around in. So look out for that one. Um, but that's shit. That's all I got, man. That's all I got.
Oh yeah.
Go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, I want to talk about we gotta ask him about when he talked to EA. Yo, the MN's brother reached out to EA. We gotta bring that up to him
Yeah,
when
that's gonna be a big one. That might be a longer one than this one.
yeah.
Might split it up depending on how long it goes or whatever. But
Uh,
um, everybody look out on that one. Like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell notification so you know when we go live. But Wednesdays and Sundays, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, we will be doing the shows on Sundays. We will be doing a little recap, and then we'll be covering some of the game stuff on Sundays. Recaps of fights that happen on Saturday. Um, links to social medias will be in the description. Um, links for Discord. Oh, if you guys haven't downloaded Discord yet, download Discord. Discord is a service that um, you can be connected with either the boxing wish list or other games, other game studios and stuff, or even other YouTubers. They have Discords and stuff too. So um, download Discord. Link will be in the description to download Discord. It will be also you can get it on your phone, iOS or Android or whatever Android marketplace that you have, Google Play, whatever, Samsung, whatever. They'll have the Discord app. Um, links for the boxing wish list Discord will be in the description also. Um, leave a comment, man. Be involved. People will be eventually looking at this stuff. Um, so make your voices heard. That's all I have. Poe, take it away, man.
yeah, just support us so we can support your ideas. You know, get your ideas out there. You know, conversate with us. You know, talk to us on Instagram or whatever, or leave a comment below. And then, companies paying attention. They trying to see where the fans are going and what they're talking about. So, just be a part of the campaign to get what you want.
Exactly. Last thing I say about the Discord and the boxing wish list. That's designed. What that's for is, and especially here too, is we want to put all of everybody's voice under one roof. Everybody has a say. Everybody has a voice. Everybody has their thoughts, their wants, their wishes. That's what this Discord is for the boxing wish list. So make sure you guys join that. Um, I'll be active in it. Poe will be active in it. It's his Discord, so um, we'll get these things submitted. Like if there's a company that comes to us, we'll get things submitted to them. We'll get things pushed out to them to hopefully get it into these games, hopefully that are coming out. So with that being said, everybody, thank you for coming out. Um, until next time, Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is J Knock, man. I'm out.
Peace.
Peace.